Hey traders, CN Trader here again. I thought I'd take another opportunity this evening to make another video and go over some analysis, some chart analysis that I'm doing, and give you guys an opportunity to kind of look over my shoulder and see some of the things that I take into account when I'm doing some of this analysis with harmonics, as well as supply, demand, support, resistance. And right now you can see we're looking at a chart. It's a Euro-Aussie weekly chart. And so first we're starting at that high time frame. And the first thing you notice on this is the price line right here. This is where price is sitting right now. And it's very interesting because if it's very clear, you can see we're at an area that is significant. You can see all this area of structure that's come in over the years. This goes back to 1999, so it's about 18, 19 years of support that it served for support and resistance. So it's a significant level. And the other thing you notice when you come up here, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but I thought it was very interesting and I thought I'd note it, is we have a interesting little pattern that's developed here. It's the head and shoulders pattern. And what's interesting about this potential pattern that's developed is that it's right into an area of significant resistance. And you can see for years this going back, how it's come back below, came up, tested it, tested it, tested it, tested it, shot out of there, come down, shot out of there, come down, shot way out of there, consolidated a little bit in this area and then fell away. Came back, got hit in the head, came back, tried to break out, got hit, tried to break out, got hit again, and now we're forming a potential left shoulder and we have our neckline right here. And so very interesting that we're getting this development right into an area of significant resistance, or where we might find some significant supply. So that'll be interesting to see how that develops. It's also important to note here that we've been in a trading range over the last 5 years, and that trading range has been significant. We've had about plenty of opportunity to bank in the 3,000 pip range, because that's about the range, 29.63, 29.70, give or take a few pips, where we've been able to be in this sideways trading into this area of significant resistance. So we're going to see what happens when we fall, or if we fall away from this area. So I just wanted to point that out. I thought that was interesting to note, and some of the things that I'm taking into consideration and looking at. But we're going to zoom in here and we're going to see what we're looking at as far as some harmonic confluence, what I'm seeing coming into the zone, and where I see significant opportunities, about 500 pip opportunity that could be developing here that we want to pay attention to and we want to take a look at. So I zoomed in here on this weekly, and you can see we got a nice, I'm going to take this swing high right here, and we're going to come down into the swing low right here. And you can see we come right into a nice 618 retracement, and we come back, we significantly retrace, and then we come back and we break out right nicely to 786. So that tells me right there we got this Gartley that had developed, and you can see we could swing high, we got X to A to B, and we're going to take this one and we're going to go B to C, and we come right into the 786, and we found some selling, and we come right down into this B pattern of the B part of the pattern. So this Gartley actually already paid off technically, because we have something that where we came in and we came down to the B part, and we have room to go to the downside for sure, and we're going to discuss that. But first, let's talk about why I picked this swing high versus this swing high for the development of this pattern. And we're going to go ahead and put a line there, and we're going to zoom out, and we're going to see, you could see the significant area that this is. The price had come up into this area. First, we'll zoom back out again, or zoom back in a little, and we see price had come to this area. Look how many times. The first time it did, it broke out, and it gave us a significant pin bar on a weekly chart. I mean, it came up here and so much selling came in, and then it comes right up to that area, right up to that line, and then sells right off, and then we come up again right into that area, and then it just sells off. So very, very significant supply that came into this area, and we had a significant move. And so if we go ahead and zoom out, we can see why that area was so important. You can see the structure here. You can see this here. You can see the battle here, the battle here, the battle. It just keeps going right here. Price came down, double bottom and shot out of there. Price comes down, can't stay below, tests it again and shoots out of there. And it did the same thing right in here and shoots out of all new highs. Again, this is significant area that goes back 19 years. So that should tell you something. That should tell you that that's a very important level. And certainly we saw that sell off of that level. Now, when we got that retrace, look what happens. We come right over here, and I'm going to go ahead and put a line right there. And that was the area where we saw the buying that came in, right, off the pattern here. Pattern pays off. We get that nice little reversal candle here. We get a lower low, we get a green close, we get a higher high on the candle. It takes out the highs of the previous 4 candles on a weekly chart. Just beautiful opportunity to get long off of that significant area. But again, we look at the line, we look left, and we can see all the structure right here. This is all recent stuff. All recent stuff. Look at that. Holds this area, holds this area. Get a little head and shoulder right here, and it breaks down and sells off of this area. It comes up or retests that significant level, and you get a nice little pin bar, higher red, higher bar, and red close, and it keeps coming down. And so you could see that this area is very important. So good reason why we got some buying off of that area. And again, if we zoom out and we look left, we can see all the way back here. We can see that this is significant area that goes back again 19, 18, 19 years of its significance. So you can see the importance. So again, if I zoom in here and I look at this, I'm looking at this trading range that we're in, and you can see there's 1,000 pips right there. Right? If I cut that in half, if we're going to turn around here into this significant area, again, I can put another line here at the 786, and we can zoom out, and you could see these levels right here, right in here, right in here. These are areas that all had battles. All right. So if I take a look at that, if we come back down and test into this area, you're looking at a potential move for 500 pips, 532 pips. All right, so that's what we're looking at on a weekly chart, and there's some other things going on here that we'll want to pay attention to. So we're going to go ahead and review those a little bit. If I take this swing low and I take this swing high right here, you can see we've come down into a 50% retrace. So I see a 50% retrace. One of the things I'm looking for is an AB equals CD. Now there are those that like and prefer to have a 618 as their retrace for a good valid AB equals CD, but I like the 50s as well, and you can even have a 38 retrace. But anyway, if we do that, look at where we come into. We come right into that 150 extension off of this right here, which is pretty interesting, right? We come right into this area. If I go ahead and put a line right here, you can see we've had some selling. Very, very little time closed above this line. We had one daily close above this line. The next day it makes a higher high of that candle before and closes red, and we're unable to close above this line over the last 3 years since 2015 when this happened. So it's very interesting. It's made an attempt, and it's gotten knocked down into this zone. So we come into this area, it's potential that we could expect something to happen. All right, so if I go ahead and flip this around, another thing I'm looking at is, okay, where can price go? What's the possibility if we are in this trading range here and this big range that's in here? Where can we go, and where might we find some buying support if we do in fact fall from here? Well, one thing we can look at, again, we'll zoom back in here, and we could see we come into 141 is very close to this area. Okay, so we have this. We could see a wick candle here or pin bar or something come up into this area. It's possible. We'll see what happens. But if I go ahead and put that 141 right there, if I go ahead and measure this move right here, you're going to see some ratio confluence with the 886 as well. So we got an AB equals CD into an area of significant resistance, into an area where we saw some significant selling before, and into an area where we have some ratio confluence, and we got some harmonic confluence as well. So we got some things that are happening here that tell us there could be a potential opportunity here, and we're going to want to pay attention. Doesn't mean we're sticking a sell limit in there and just you know, going crazy with ourselves or anything like that, getting euphoric. Just means, hey, it's time to pay attention. We're in this area and we need to know what's going on. We need to pay attention to price behavior. So what can we see? Well, we got this here. I'm looking at something that could potentially be happening, something I call the little brother. It's the little brother, otherwise known as the cipher pattern. I call it on the thread. I call it the little brother because it's very, very, very similar, or familiar, I should say, with different rules for those who have decided to make this pattern up and find a high probability with it. So where can we go? We're going to look at this here. We're going to take this out. We're just going to clean up some of this mess here, and then I'm just going to take another Fibonacci, and I'm going to go here to here, and you can see the 786 comes right in here, and that's where your cipher would end. Doesn't mean we can't come down here. No, plenty of times we come down into this area, we got a get a little shark pattern or something like that that develops. You can have this whole area right here from the 886 to the 131. But again, you can see this area, all this area right in here is where previous buying had taken place. It's the bottom of our range. If I take this 786 and I put that line there, and again, let's go zoom out. Let's take a look at it. We got most recent, right? Coming down into this area, we have the structure. We have the battle right here, trying to come lower, it can't, trying to come lower, test it, comes up a little bit, sells off. It's just this, the battle is happening here. A battle is happening here. We're happening here, 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 here. Good structure into that area. So if we do come into this area, that's something we'll want to look for. We'll look for price behavior into this area, into this zone, to see if we want to get long, or we'll look for signs that say maybe we're going to go ahead and break through this head and shoulders pattern and reach lower lows. A lot can happen between now and when that potentially could happen. It may not even happen, but a lot can happen. Remember, this is a weekly chart. This isn't going to happen overnight unless some central bank decides to say or do something very foolish, or something that scares the daylights out of the market, like they did with the Swissy a couple years back, and did with the yen a couple years back, and all that other nonsense that could happen at night while you're sleeping if you're not positioned properly, or if you're not patient and disciplined, waiting for your opportunity for the market to tell you where it's going. All right, so let's scroll down a little bit. Let's see what's going on now. We want to kind of take a look at, okay, now that we have a big picture, right? What are we looking at? What's going on now? What's taking place that could potentially lead us to an opportunity? And so I scroll down into this daily chart, and you could see right off the bat, I'm going to take this. I'm going to go grab my fib here, and I'm going to take this swing high, and we're going to come down to this swing low, and you could see we come up to 3.8, almost a 50% retrace. We come up to it here, but I like this area better. This is a lower low here than this is. So we're going to take a look at this, and right off the bat you see we got our line here, a significant area, remember, from the weekly chart right at that 886. So how beautiful is that, right? We come in here, we draw this X to A to B, and then we got a beautiful bat pattern, bat pattern that comes right up into that area right there. And now we're looking at behavior. So we have a nice little sell zone happening right in this area, and we're looking at behavior in this area and what could take place. Remember, we go back up to the weekly, we still have some room. So there's no guarantees here. We're just looking at behavior to see what can we see that's taking place. So what can help us? Well, let's scroll down a little bit, and we're going to scroll down to the 4-hour chart, and we could see that we're in this zone, this sell zone on the daily and the 4. This is what it looks like on the 4. Everything always is off when you go down from the big time frame to the little time frame, so we'll just adjust it slightly, make it look a little prettier. That's a prettier bat. So what do we got here? We got price behavior that I've been talking about. I'm kind of pounding the table on a little bit. It's the importance of head and shoulders, and we have developing here, and you can see that it has developed. And we have the left shoulder here, we have the head here, we have the right shoulder here, and of course we have the neckline right here. And you can see we came down and we pierced it, but that's all we did. We pierced it. We didn't close below it, really made no move hasn't really told us where we wanted to go yet. We're still being patient and disciplined. We still can come up into this area. There is a pattern on a smaller time frame that we could take a look at to give us clues, maybe to look for an opportunity to get short in this area, but we're continuing to stay patient and disciplined. Enjoy, have fun, trade your plan, make a great day, do your own due diligence, and may we all make bank, game-changing bank, the kind of bank that makes you think and grow.